All right, everyone, we have another epic win from Donald Trump that we have to discuss. Link in the description, archived of course. Donald Trump is now threatening to divert 90,000 IRS agents to the southern border. Now, not all of these would be people that would be otherwise auditing taxes or something like that. Now, Trump came out and effectively said, well, some of these positions are useless. You know, you have that massive increase in the IRS. Well, we need more Border Patrol agents. Why don't we just put them on the southern border? That makes sense now, doesn't it? I approve of this 100 friggin' percent. Well, 110% actually. This is a great idea. And shrink the size of government while actually diverting resources to something that's actually meaningful. We don't need more IRS agents. The number of people who actually skeeve on their taxes, and it's to a meaningful degree, like, you know, you would actually make money by recovering the amount that was skeeved on, is very, very small. Most of the tax evasion that happens in the United States, and this is a problem, happens among people that are in like the working class, people that aren't making a huge amount of money to begin with. It makes no sense, therefore, to dedicate a $25, $30 an hour employee or above, that's like fucking starting benefits, to looking into their case, filing off all the paperwork, it changes hands, another person looks into it, and 100 hours later, when you've spent potentially tens of thousands of dollars, all of a sudden you recuperate, you know, $500 from them or something like that. A little bit of petty theft against the government. The problem is it's unenforceable. There are too many people doing it. And if you look at tax auditing, you'll find it's not the billionaires that are getting audited. I mean, they do, but you never recuperate any money there either because they've got an army of lawyers. They tend not to be guilty of tax evasion. It's people from the working and middle class that are getting targeted, and you're not really bringing back any money. If anything, you're hemorrhaging it. It makes absolutely no sense. Meanwhile, at the border, we've got a different problem. We've got people coming across illegally, generally speaking. This is mainly at the southern border, though we've seen a number of instances at the northern border now as well. The United States is being invaded, although it's not an organized invasion, generally speaking. You have people coming into the country, and they're getting welfare benefits and shit like that, while veterans are living under highway overpasses. This is an unacceptable situation. The IRS is not equipped to handle it. Eventually, I think that you're going to end up with like a real ID sort of situation and everything being automatically docketed electronically. And I don't necessarily agree with that either, but I also don't agree with expanding the IRS. It's just not necessary. I mean, it serves absolutely no purpose. 90,000 people. That's a lot of government salaries to be paid. Keeping in mind, again, the lowest echelon people there. If you're working as a goddamn janitor at the IRS, you're making $25 an hour to start or something like that. It's probably more than that. It's government work, so they get massively overpaid as opposed to the private economy. If you're an actual agent there, I don't know what the starting salary is, but I'm sure that it's a considerable amount of money. Send them to the border. Give them their assault rifle and say, look, get clad in your bulletproof vest because now you're guarding this fence. It would be more meaningful. It would be more wise. And it would actually bring a return because for every person that's coming illegally into the United States, you're losing a huge amount of money. When you're going after somebody for very simple tax evasion, oh my God, they took a $500 write-off that they weren't due, and so now we've got to sue them. That's not meaningful. If anything, again, you're wasting money. You're wasting people's time and you're wasting resources. So I rise in full support of this. And by the way, Donald Trump's an absolute mad lad, as Dankula might term it, for doing so. Because if any other president attempted this, people would think them insane. With Donald Trump, it's like, okay, Donald's being Donald again. And in the end, he probably won't get the big ask. But if you can divert maybe 20 or 30,000 IRS agents to the border to go and do clerical work in processing people, or give them their rifle and let them guard the border or something like that. Significant, very significant, extreme. By the way, the U.S. Marines are at the southern border right now. I have a feeling that the number of border crossings is going to drop considerably. When they see vertibirds flying overhead, and when they see groups of soldiers on the other side of the border, they're probably a little bit less likely to cross. Also, you've got the deportation plane mess going on right now. Mexico is stonewalling it, and it's like, okay, people came from your country into ours. They were illegally doing so. Then they committed crimes while they were here. Why should we have to put them in a bed and give them food at great taxpayer expense when you're the ones that are responsible for them? They're not our citizens, they're your citizens. Why should we have to stomach the cost? In the end, it makes more sense and is cheaper to simply load them on a plane and fly it down to Mexico City than it is to house them in U.S. prisons. The U.S. legal system is overburdensomely expensive at every possible level, by the way. Even the bare bones like county jail detention centers, like I was in, by the way, even those cost a lot of money because you need a bunch of, there are sheriffs there, there are other security there are clerical workers there are medical staff there are people that cook. Sometimes, in a prison, the prisoners are the ones doing the cooking, which is a little bit more efficient, but by an end, and the food's not very good. Let's put it that way. I'd rather eat MREs all day. It's very inefficient. It's very, very costly. Large building, lots of staff, especially security. They get paid very well. And then you have, of course, the court system. Judges get paid. Attorney generals get paid. DAs get paid, etc., 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 on down the line. It makes more sense to simply deport these individuals. By the way, our prison system in the United States is massively overcrowded. If you could parse off 10-15% of those individuals and send them abroad, it would massively improve conditions within those prisons. You'd probably have a lower recidivism rate at some point because people wouldn't be so fucking miserable when they're in prison. So it serves a bunch of different purposes, serves a bunch of different goals. Overall would be an excellent idea. It's also absolutely friggin' hilarious because Biden wanted to increase the IRS by like 90,000 people. Trump saying, well, no, I don't really need them, but we do need them at the U.S. border. That would be a good idea, right? I think that he is correct. That's about all. Peace out.